Hello and welcome to Java course. In this video, we'll discuss I/O basics in Java. Java programs perform I/O, that is input-output, through streams. A stream is an abstraction that either produces or consumes information. Streams are a clean way to deal with input or output without having every part of your code understand the difference between a keyboard or a network. So let us discuss I/O basics in Java. Here, in this video, we'll discuss byte streams, character stream, and three I/O classes. First one is buffer reader, second scanner class, and third console class.
Objectives here are to introduce concept of a stream, to discuss input-output methods, and to design simple I/O program. At the end of the session, learner will be able to explain byte and character stream. Learner will be able to design and test interactive Java application. So, we'll start with byte streams.
Byte streams provide a rich environment for handling byte-oriented I/O. It can be used with any type of object, including binary data. So any type of input-output can be handled using byte streams. Two classes we'll discuss in this. First one is input stream and second is output stream. So these two are designed for byte stream. Here, the first byte stream class that we are discussing is input stream. It is an abstract class that defines byte input. Well, there are many methods in input stream class. We'll discuss two of them. One is read method and second is close method. Read method is overloaded method. Here you can see the first read method does not take any parameter. Second read method takes one parameter, that is buffer array of type byte. Then third read method takes three parameters. First one is array, first parameter is array, second is offset, and third is number of bytes. So let us see each method one by one. First read method returns an integer representation of next available byte of input. Whenever end of file is reached, it returns -1. The second read method attempts to read up to buffer.length bytes into buffer, and then it returns actual number of bytes it read successfully. And -1 is returned in case of end of file. While third read method attempts to read number of bytes specified as third parameter from the offset specified in the buffer array, and it returns the number of bytes it has successfully read, and in case of end of file it returns -1. The last method, that is close method, closes the input source, and all these methods always attempts to generate I/O exceptions. Output stream class from byte stream is an abstract class that defines streaming byte output. Here, write method is overloaded method. First write method takes single parameter, which is of type integer. Second write method also has single parameter, which is array, and third write method takes three parameters. First one is array, second is offset, and third is number of bytes. So let us discuss each write method one by one. First write method writes single byte to an output stream. Here you note that the parameter that is written, that is passed, is of type integer, which allows you to call write with expression without having to cast them back to byte. Second write method writes complete array of bytes to an output stream, while third method, as it takes three parameters, the number of bytes specified are written, that is subrange of that buffer array is written to output stream, while close closes output source. Here all these methods attempts to generate IO exceptions. Second type of stream that we are discussing is character stream. While the Byte Stream classes provide sufficient functionality to handle any type of IO operations, they cannot work directly on Unicode characters. As we know that the purpose of Java is to support write once, run anywhere philosophy. It was necessary to include direct input-output support for characters. So that is why the character streams are provided. Character streams handle Unicode character streams. At the top there are two abstract classes. First one is reader and second one is writer class. So we will discuss these two classes from character stream. First class from character stream is reader class. Reader class defines streaming character input. Here you can check, like previous byte stream, the read method is overloaded method and there is close method. Again, for this reader class there are many methods, but our focus is on reading writing, so we are discussing here only a read method. Similar to byte stream, here first read method takes no parameter, second read method takes single parameter, and third read method takes 3 parameters. First read method returns an integer representation of next available character from invoking input stream. In case of byte stream, it was next available byte, while here it is next available character. And in case of end of file, it returns -1. Second read method attempts to read buffer.length characters, and it is stored in this buffer array, which is of type character, and returns actual number of characters that were successfully read. In case of end of file, it returns -1. Third read method takes 3 parameters. It reads number of characters specified from specified offset into the buffer, returning number of characters successfully read. And in case of end of file, it returns -1. While the closes input source. Again, similar to our earlier byte stream class, that is input stream, this also generates IO exceptions. Second class that we'll discuss from character stream is writer class. Writer class defines streaming character output. Here, write method is overloaded method. First write method takes integer parameter, second write method takes buffer array, which is of type character. Third write method takes 3 parameters, array, offset, and number of characters. Fourth write method takes string as parameter, and last fifth write method takes 3 parameters. First parameter is string, second is offset, and third one is number of characters. First write method writes single character to an output stream. Here you note that the parameter is int, which allows you to call write with expressions without having to cast them back to character. Second write method writes complete array of characters to an output stream. While this third write method, which takes 3 parameters, writes a subrange of number of character bytes from the buffer beginning at the offset specified. Fourth write method takes string as parameter and it writes this string to invoking output stream. The last write method writes subrange of number of characters from specified offset from the string. So writer class thus defines streaming character output. Now, while reading the console input, there are different streams we discussed. First one was byte stream and second character stream. Byte stream was used in Java 1.0, while in Java 2.0 character streams were introduced. There are three different ways for reading input from user in the command line environment, that is at console. We'll discuss these three classes for reading input from user. First one is BufferReader class, second is Scanner class, and third is Console class. Here in BufferReader class, you can see here the program is written using BufferReader. So what is imported here? There are three packages, three classes are imported from package IO. IO is package which is necessary to be imported for BufferReader class. And from this IO package, three classes are imported. First one is BufferReader. Second is IO exception. As we have seen, every read and write method always generates IO exception. It is necessary to include this class. And third one is input stream reader. So here the program of taking input from user using BufferReader class is written. In this case, the main method throws IO exception because the input is taken from user and all the methods generates IO exception. It is necessary to use throws IO exception. So BufferReader class, for BufferReader class, the object created is reader. And from this BufferReader, the input stream reader, which is one more class, and to this input stream reader, system.in is the parameter. So what we are doing here is we are declared one variable name of type string, and as a reader is the object of type BufferReader, from this BufferReader class, method called readLine is called, and this readLine will read a string from user. So BufferReader class can be used to call a method called readLine, which will read a string from user, and using system.out we can display that. Here you can try creating tiny text editor using BufferReader class. So this can be an assignment based on BufferReader class, which is very easy to create because BufferReader class uses readLine, and you can definitely create tiny text editor using BufferReader. Next is advantage of using BufferReader class. The input is buffered for efficient reading is the advantage of using BufferReader class. Second class that we'll discuss is Scanner class. Scanner class is used to take input from user, and this is probably the most preferred method to take input. The main purpose of Scanner class is to parse primitive types and strings using regular expressions. Scanner class can also be used to read input from the user in command line. So let us see one example of scanner class. Here you can check scanner is a class from util package. So scanner class, this util package is imported, and from util package scanner class is imported. Get input from user is a class name, while method, that is main, is written in main. In is the object created which is of type scanner. Here you can see there are three different methods. In is the object, and using this in object, the next line, next int or next float, these three methods from the scanner class are called. In first, that is in dot next line, this reads string. S is variable of type string, and by reading the input from user, the variable is initialized. In second case, here next int method is used. This method takes integer input from user. Variable a is initialized using this input. While the third one, that is, it takes float input from user and assigns that value to variable b. The advantages of using scanner class is it is convenient method. There are different methods for parsing primitive, that is int, float, etc. from tokenized input. And the most or main advantage of using scanner class is regular expressions can be used to find tokens. The third one is console class. Console class can be used for reading password-like input. Like whenever we enter password, we don't want to display that on screen. So whenever we want to take input from user which we don't want to display, in that case, that is without echoing character, if you want to take input from user, then console class can be used. Here console class actually works only at the command prompt. If you are using IDE, this may not work. This is example of console class. Here I have taken only the input from user which is of type string. So here the readLine method which is in the console class is called. You have to of course import the console class, and you can call readLine method from that console class which allows user to enter the data. So using console class to take input data from user, you can use readLine method which is of type character. So string can be taken from user using readLine method. Different advantages of using console class is reading password without echoing the entered characters. Second is reading methods are synchronized. While the format string syntax can also be used in console class. In this video, we have discussed two types of streams, byte stream and character stream. Then we have discussed three different classes, which takes input from user. So here are things to remember. Java's I/O system is cohesive and consistent. Streams are used in Java programs to perform input-output operations. Three different ways for reading input from the user in command line environment, that is at console. First one is BufferReader class, second is scanner class, and third is console class.